This little kitchen has carried so much life inside of it over the years. When I stand here early in the morning before the sun fully rises, with the coffee brewing and the house still quiet around me, I sometimes stop and think about how many ordinary moments have unfolded inside these small walls. Bread dough rising on the counter, soup simmering slowly on cold winter evenings, late nights baking brownies because Tim wanted something sweet after dinner, the sound of rain tapping against the windows while dishes dry beside the sink. And honestly, somewhere along the way, this little kitchen stopped feeling small to me. It started feeling safe. I think for a long time, I believed peace would finally arrive someday in the form of a bigger house, a larger kitchen, more storage, more room to breathe. I imagined beautiful open spaces with endless countertops and giant windows and enough cabinets to neatly tuck everything away. But life has a way of teaching us things we never expected to learn. Because over the years, after all the seasons of starting over and rebuilding and trying to create home again and again, I've realized something very different. The homes that stay with us forever are usually not the biggest ones. They are the ones that felt warm. The ones where dinner simmered on the stove while someone talked nearby. The ones where laughter echoed through small rooms. Where you felt safe enough to finally exhale. I think that is what I've slowly been trying to create here all along. Not perfection, not impressiveness, just warmth. There are still days when this kitchen frustrates me. Days when the counter feels too crowded and the dishes pile up too quickly. Days when I wish there was more room while I'm trying to bake or cook dinner at the same time. Days when clutter seems to appear out of nowhere, no matter how much I try to stay on top of it. But then there are other moments, quiet moments. Moments when strawberry jam is simmering slowly on the stove and the whole kitchen smells sweet and warm. Moments when the mixer hums softly in the background while cake batter comes together in the bowl. Moments when evening light comes through the curtains just right. And suddenly, the whole room glows softly for a few minutes before sunset. And those moments always remind me that a home does not need to be perfect to feel beautiful. Sometimes beauty lives in the ordinary things we almost overlook. The flour dusted across the counter after baking, the warmth from the oven filling the room on a chilly day, the familiar comfort of reaching for the same old mixing bowl you've used 100 times before. Little things. But honestly, life itself is mostly made up of little things. I think one reason I love homemaking so deeply now is because I understand how fragile life can actually be. There were years when I lost almost everything. Years where home disappeared overnight and I had to start over again with almost nothing but hope, and that eventually life would feel stable again. One of the moments I still think about often happened almost 7 years ago now. Just an ordinary morning, the kind of morning that felt completely normal at the time. I was home, moving through the usual routines of the day, never imagining that within a few minutes, my whole world would suddenly change. There was a knock at the door. I can remember opening it and seeing the Red Cross standing there on my doorstep. At first, I thought maybe something terrible had happened nearby. But then they began explaining that the trailer park we lived in was shutting down. The park was closing on Monday. We had 2 days to leave our home. 2 days. I can still remember the feeling that settled in my chest when those words finally registered in my mind. Felt like the floor disappeared underneath me for a moment. We were actually in the process of buying that trailer. We thought we were building stability. We thought we'd finally found a place where life could settle down for a little bit. And then suddenly, everything felt uncertain again overnight. I can remember looking around at our little home afterwards, trying to process what was happening. Looking at the kitchen counters, furniture, and the ordinary things around me, knowing we somehow had to figure out where our lives were going in only a matter of days. It's a strange feeling when your home suddenly becomes temporary without warning. You begin looking at everything differently. The familiar walls, the dishes in the cabinets, the blankets folded on the couch, just the little routines you thought would still be there next week. And all at once, everything feels fragile. I remember being scared, not just stressed and not just overwhelmed, scared. Because when you have already had seasons in life where everything fell apart before, moments like that reopen old fears very quickly. You start wondering if stability will ever truly last. And you start wondering if home will always feel temporary somehow. But looking back now, I could truly see God's hand through all of it so clearly. Because somehow, in the middle of all that uncertainty, panic and rushing, we were led here to this little house we live in now. And I really think this house was never perfect. Even now, 7 years later, there's so many things that need repaired. Some days it feels like this old place is held together by a little more than prayer and determination, and maybe a little duct tape. The floors creak, things break. There's always another project waiting, another repair we cannot fully afford yet. But even with all its imperfections, I still feel deeply grateful for this home. Because after losing so many places over the years, I no longer measure a home by perfection. I measure it by peace. And somehow, this little worn-down house became a place where we could finally breathe again. Sometimes the places we end up clinging to most tightly are not the places that look perfect from the outside. Sometimes they are simply the places where we were held together during the hardest seasons of our lives. And I think that's why this home means so much to me now. Not because it is beautiful in the way the world usually defines beauty, but because life slowly began growing here again. And when you live through enough seasons like that, material things stop carrying the same importance that they once did. You begin seeing home differently. You stop asking, does this look impressive? And you start asking, does this feel peaceful? That question changed everything for me. Because years ago, there was an ordinary morning that completely changed the way I look at home forever. And somehow, this little house became the place where we could finally breathe again. Homemaking becomes deeply emotional over time because our homes quietly witness our lives unfolding. They witness grief, healing, starting over, just ordinary days. Small victories nobody else sees. And I think when you've had to rebuild your life more than once, you stop seeing home as just a structure. It becomes refuge. This kitchen has seen me cry before, and it has seen me exhausted. It's seen me overwhelmed by life and still standing at these counters trying to make dinner anyway, because people still need to eat and life still has to keep moving forward. And somehow, through all of that, this little room kept teaching me the same lesson over and over again. Love lives in ordinary things, not glamorous things, not perfect things, ordinary things. A warm meal, fresh bread cooling on the counter, jam simmering on the stove, a lamp glowing softly at night after the dishes are all done, and someone asking if there's another piece of cake left in the pan. These tiny moments, they become the story of a life. I think that is why I hold these ordinary moments so closely now. Because life moves so quickly. The days pass, the seasons change, people grow older, and homes change. And before we even realize it, the little routines we once thought were insignificant quietly become memories we would give anything to relive one more time. One more ordinary morning in the kitchen. One more cup of coffee shared together. One more evening baking something simple while music plays softly in the background. And I think that is why homemaking matters so much more deeply than people sometimes realize. It's not really about perfection or impressing anyone. It is not about having the newest things or the biggest house or the most beautifully decorated rooms. It is about creating refuge, a place where people can rest and feel cared for, and a place where warmth still exists in a world that often feels rushed and overwhelming. And maybe that refuge does not look perfect. Maybe the floors creak, the counters are worn, and there are dishes still drying beside the sink, and laundry waiting to be folded in another room. But none of those things take away the beauty of a home filled with love. If anything, I think they make it feel more real. Over the years, I think I've finally learned that peace rarely comes from the finally having enough. It comes from learning to notice what already exists right in front of us. And after all the seasons of starting over and rebuilding, I no longer take those things for granted. Because there were years when life felt uncertain and home disappeared unexpectedly, and when I truly did not know what the future would look like. So now, even in this small, imperfect kitchen, I feel grateful. And there's one thing I hope you take away from this video. Your home does not need to be perfect to be beautiful. You do not need endless space for a home to feel peaceful. You do not need expensive things for a home to feel warm. And you do not need to have everything figured out in your life to still hold meaning and beauty. Sometimes, the most meaningful homes are simply the ones where people feel safe enough to be human. And I think that kind of beauty matters more than perfection ever could. Thank you for spending this quiet time with me today inside my little kitchen. I hope wherever you are, this video reminded you to slow down a little bit and breathe a little deeper and find comfort in the ordinary moments surrounding you right now. Because one day, these ordinary days will become the memories that we hold closest to our hearts.